Welcome back. In today's video, we are going to see use cases of the do, the for, and the while loop. When to use them and which one is more simpler on the other. So we are having this question: write a Java program that asks the user to input a PIN number. If they input the right PIN number, set as 12345 6. So this one here is the right PIN number that the user has to input. The program terminates, meaning the program, if the user inserts the right PIN number, the program should automatically what? Close. But if they do not, they have 3 attempts to get the right number until they are asked to run the program again. Meaning, if the user inserts 3 wrong answers, the program should automatically close because the question is asking us the user only has 3 attempts. So we shall begin with the do while loop. So here, remember the do while loop. The do while loop, one of the main importances, or what the do while loop does is that the do while loop will run at least once, even if the condition is true or false. It won't check, it won't be limited by any condition. It will run if the condition is true or false. It will run at least once. So let us begin with the do while loop and we attempt the question. So the question is asking, as the user, if they input the right PIN number set as 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need our variable here. In this case, int correct. We need to first set the correct PIN number is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. The question is again asking the program terminates, but if they do not, they have 3 attempts. In this case, 3 attempts left. So shall initialize our variable called attempt and call this attempt. It is requiring us to run 3 attempts in this case. So we shall begin with the do while loop. So we shall say do. Remember, the do takes in, runs at least once, even if the condition is right or false. So this is the condition we shall set here. And remember, the condition is that the attempt, this case, attempt should be greater than 0. Yeah, the attempts should be greater than 0. I'm going to explain this in a minute. Attempts should be greater than 0. Why? Because we are going to be reducing on the attempts basing on what the user has inserted. Meaning this should run the while loop. This should automatically run or should check this. In this case, the attempts should be greater than 0. This condition here is going to be checking the attempts greater than 0. Remember, we are going to be decreasing the attempts basing on what the user has given us. Yeah, basing on this condition, we are going to check the attempts greater than 0. So if they are not greater than 0, automatically this has to stop. But one of the main importances of the do while loop is that basing on this condition, whether it is true or false, it will run. So let us first get the input from the user before we begin. As I explained in the recent videos, to get what the user has to input, we use the Java library, which gives us some nice tools. And one of the tools that we are given is the scanner. The scanner helps us to get the user input. So we shall say int, first call the scanner, or I can call the scanner outside. I shall call the scanner. The scanner comes from the Java utilities, in this case, which is java.utilities. Then in the utilities, we access the scanner. Remember, the scanner helps us to get what the user has inputted or what the user has inserted. So in this case, we shall create a new instance of the scanner, give it a new variable, which is scanner. Let's go to new scanner, new scanner, new scanner, which takes in system dot in. Yeah, so this is how we access the scanner. So inside here, after creating the instance, I'm going to use the scanner to get what the user has inserted. So I will say int user input is equal to scanner dot. Remember, from the user, we only want they give you here. We only want the integer. Yeah, integer data type. meaning the user should only insert numbers, whole numbers. From the scanner, you can access many data types. You can access the byte, the short, you can access the all data types that you want, the booleans, the strings, the double, the float, the short, the long, each and everything that you want. But for us, after using this scanner, remember the instance that we created here, I only want the what? I only want integer from the user. So I will close this. So after getting the user input, in this case, what will I do? So I have to come here, write an if statement, but you have to check what the user has inserted. If user input is equal to, remember we already have the correct answer here up, which is, let me change this at least to correct. Let me change this to correct answer. If user input is equal to the correct answer, open here, what should be done? Automatically, we say we should show the user that you have inserted you have successfully entered the right pin and shall and access is granted. Yeah, this if statement, I already have a video on the if statement. This you can go and check it out. This if statement is only checking is the user the what the user has inserted, is it the correct answer? If this condition is true, this is what is going to be shown. But remember, if the the if the input from the user is correct, this should be done, and automatically our loop should stop. So we shall use the break keyword. If the user input is equal to the correct answer, we shall tell the user that you have been granted access to the system, and automatically we break. So what I forgot is that, remember, the input, we have to tell the user here, up here, is enter your pin. This line only simply informs the user that you have to enter what? You have to enter your what? Your pin, which will alert this one, or which will, because if you don't put this the user will be in the blue. He doesn't know what to insert, so this alert will automatically be shown to the user. And if after showing it to the user, he inserts what his pin, and then we check his pin. But remember, we are in the do while loop. So after checking, but what if the user inserts a wrong pin? What will happen? So I'll say else, open brackets, if the user inserts the wrong pin, remember we have to call the attempts, and we have to decrease the attempts. Remember, each and every time the user inserts, we have to come and reduce the attempts. We only reduce if the attempts or if the user fails to insert the correct answer, which is on the else part. So we shall say if attempts. So we can write another if statement. If attempts is greater than 0, remember, you have to tell the user you still have some attempts left. But remember, you have to first check, are the attempts greater than 0? Remember, this is going to be decreasing the attempts. So if we check that the attempts are greater than 0, we can say system.out, you have you are left with, in this case, we shall show the user the attempts the user is left with. Remember, these attempts are going to be decreased on this else part. After checking the user input, and it is not the correct answer that we want, we are going to be decreasing the attempts. But the importance of this other if statement is that we are going to be checking, are the attempts greater than 0? So if the attempts are greater than 0, meaning the user still has some attempts to go. Meaning here we shall show the user that you still have some attempts to go. You continue using the program. Else, if the user input is equal to the correct answer, we have to these attempts are not greater than 0, meaning the user are out of attempts. Meaning if the attempts go less than 0, automatically the else part will run. So let us run this and we see. Let us run this and we see somewhere if this will work as intended. So compile, then run. So we are saying please enter your pin. But let me put here some like this. Those two columns at least they look more nice. So let me stop this. Then run again. Please enter your pin. Let me first insert the wrong one. This one, and I see. Run. Hey, you are left with two. You are left with 2 attempts. Let me first. These are left with attempts. So let me run again. Stop this. But at least I'm seeing some progress. Let me run. Enter. Let me write the wrong pin. You are left with 2 attempts. Please enter your pin again. This will run again. So let me run again. Enter a wrong pin again. You are left with 1 attempt. Please enter your pin. Let me run. Then insert again the wrong pin. Then you're out of attempts. Yeah, the program is running really well. So let me try to insert the right pin, and I see. Compile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have successfully entered. You have successfully entered the right pin. Access is granted, meaning our program is running very well. Yeah. So that's how you can use the do while loop. We first initialize our 2 variables. We get our 2 variables. The 2 variables include the correct answer and the 3 attempts that we are required or the system was requiring. Then we get the scanner. The scanner helps us to get the user input. From the user input, from what the user has inserted inside our do while. Remember, the do while loop will run at least once based on the condition. This is our condition. So the condition is going to check on the attempts. Are the attempts greater than 0? If they are greater than 0, the program or the loop will continue running until. But remember, the thing controlling the attempt is this, the decrement. We are decreasing 1 on the attempt each and every time the user inserts the wrong pin. On this else part, we first decrease on the attempts the user has. So based on the attempts the user has left, this if statement checks are the attempts greater than 0. If they are greater than 0, meaning the user still has some attempts left, else the user is out of attempts. Yeah, that's simply how we can use the do while loop in this case. So let me remove this. Now I can leave it. And simply just change this, the attempts, from down here to up here. Then this simply becomes our while loop. So the while loop simply is we are only checking the attempts here. We are only checking in this part. We are only checking. This is the condition, right? Only checking are the attempts greater than 0. But remember the while loop. The while loop will run if the condition is true. Yeah, if the condition is true. That's the difference it has with the do while loop. The do while loop will run at least each once, depending on if the condition is true or false. But the while loop has to run only if the condition is true. So in this case, after initializing our attempts, we are checking the attempts greater than 0, meaning you can see here that the attempts are still greater than 0, meaning this will run as intended. We first check the user input. We first get the user input. From the user input, we compare our right answer and the attempt. We compare what the user has inputted and the correct answer. If the user successfully enters the right answer, we break out of the system. Else, we reduce the attempts and check the remaining attempts and show the user how many attempts he has left. Else, is out of attempts, meaning we have successfully, or the user has already used all his 3 attempts. So that's how you can use the while loop. Let us compare this and see. Please enter. Right, wrong. You can see that you have 2 attempts left. It's the right answer. It's the wrong answer. You have 1 attempt left. Then you are out of attempts. this last part is the one running. So let me compile again and try to write the right answer in this case, which is 1, 2, 3, 6. You have successfully entered the right pin. Access is granted. So meaning our while loop is running as we intended. So let us use the last one, which is the for loop. I can first scan this. I can remove our while loop in this case. I can leave what our instance for the scanner. Remember, the instance is the one helping to get the user input. So I can say for loop. And remember, in our for loop is that one of the things I love in the for loop is that you can write all or you can initialize all your values in just one line. Meaning here I can say attempts here, call them here, can say attempts, call them inside our loop. Uh, then the next thing is that in the for loop we set our condition, meaning the attempt should be greater than 0 for our loop to continue running or for our loop to continue taking the attempts greater than 0. If they are greater than 0, the loop will continue looping. Then in this case, shall close this. Then the attempts shall be reducing. Yeah, we shall be reducing the attempts. Each and every time that the system is running, we shall be reducing our attempts. So in this case, we shall get the scanner, but we shall first alert the user. Please enter your pin. Yeah. So in this case, I'm going to call this scanner. So int user input is equal to scanner. I'm going to use it dot from the user. I want only the integer, which is the whole number. So I will use an if statement in this case. If user input is equal to the correct answer, in this case, what should be done? System.print out u, meaning here the user has inserted the right answer. Access granted. Yeah, meaning the user has inserted the right answer. Else if here we're going to use an else if to check on the attempts. Remember on the do and the while loop, I used two if statements, but instead of using the two if statements, I can replace them with the else if. Yeah, the else if we check the attempts greater than 0. Are the attempts greater than 0? If they are not greater than 0, I can first come here and I say if they are not greater than 0, come here, print you have in this case this shall be printing out the attempts. Remember, the attempts are going to be decreasing each and every time the system runs. So you have attempts left. So if the attempts are still greater than 0, I will print out the attempts. And remember, the attempts are going to be changing each and every time. Else you system.print you are out of attempts, meaning the user is out of attempts if the attempts are not greater than 0. So automatically, let us first compile this and we see. You can see that the for loop is we are writing a lesser code and clean code compared to others. So let me compare this. Let me first insert a wrong pin. You have 3 attempts left. They can't be 3. Remember, we have used 1 attempt. They can't be 3, meaning something is not going on right. Let me first finish the 3 attempts and I see. This is the second one. This is the last one. Yeah, the system is closing, but our statements are not right. I can't be on the final one, and it is showing me you have 1 attempt left. Meaning here, what I can do, I can less in this case here where I'm checking the attempts left. I can come here and less by 1. How do you see? Automatically this will be less by 1 and list will be less by 1, and automatically this will not show anywhere, meaning here, even here, can still decrease on the attempts. It won't accept until put it in our top curly bracket. Meaning each and every time that the system is running, we have to decrease one attempt. Remember, we have already used the attempt, so we have to show the user that we have already attempted. You have already used one attempt, meaning we are going to less by 1 each and every time the user inserts something. So let me try to compile this. Please enter. Wait, wrong one. Yeah, this is correct. You have 2 attempts because this is reducing the 3 attempts to 1. Yeah, and it's being outputted the same way here down on my system.printer. Yeah, finish. You have 1 attempt left. Yeah, which is this one. You're out of attempts. Yeah, you can see that this is running really well. So let me compile this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Compile. Access granted. Access granted. Please enter. No. Here, this shouldn't show. Meaning here, I'm missing the break keyword. Automatically, if the user inserts the right pin, automatically the system has to stop. Here, then let me compare this. Let me enter the right pin. Access granted. Automatically the break keyword will break the system. So that's how we can use the three loops, the do while loop, the while loop, and the for loop. So you can comment out in the comment section which one is more simpler to use. So when to use the 3. So if you already know how many attempts that you want, the simpler or the easiest one, which is preferred to use, is that we prefer using the for loop. If you already know the attempts, or if you already know the iterations that you want your loop to run, but if you don't know, we prefer using the do while loop. One of the use cases that we use the while loop is that if we are reading like file systems, yeah, if you are reading files, we prefer using the while loop. So that's simply how we can use the 3 in our use cases or in our programming world. So thank you for today.